Jumping in here to let you all know that my commissions are open, so if you want an angel kill illustration, now is your chance. We can dominate the world with these silly, stupid chibis. Now, let's get back into the video. Hello, how are you? Do you recognize the character that you see here? Yes, we will be doing that idea that I had for her. So if you haven't watched the video where I created this character based on a few perfumes, I had said that I was going to sell her as an adopt, but then I got another idea. I will still be selling her, but I'll be making a PNG Tuber. So what you see here is the making and taking the transparent PNG version of her as I start separating her pieces. If you didn't understand what I just said, because even I didn't understand what just came out of my mouth, I basically imported her transparent image with no background. It's just a transparent thing, and I start cutting her pieces. I start cutting her into pieces. So I changed some values in her design thanks to a comment that had mentioned like the strawberry stuff that was wrong, and I looked at it and I was like, well, this person is right. How did I not notice this before? So I fixed some stuff up. So here we have the, fixed values, okay? Fixed values. So I do draw in the back parts for each piece of her, just in case, for it to be cleaner when she moves and bounces, even if you won't see all of that. PNG Tubers, for you to have an idea, are like paper dolls. They're just like little parts stuck together that you can then move around. I honestly prefer them to the virtual YouTubers made on Live 2D. To me, the majority of those models look uncanny because the models in itself are like drawn in this usual stiff doll-like pose, but then added physics like they aren't in that pose, and it kind of scares me. But I love the PNG Tubers, which, by the way, are also virtual YouTubers, because VTuber stands for that, virtual YouTuber. I find it funny when people say that they aren't VTubers, because they don't have like 2D physics and boob physics, but we will get into that, okay? We won't get into that specifically. But I understand what they mean, but I don't know, I just find it fun. I just like PNG Tubers, okay? They look cute and bouncy and squishy, and I don't know, they're just really special to me. I still want to figure out at some point a way to make a model on Live 2D that looks natural and doesn't give me that uncanny vibe. Let's see when I get into that. Another day, that's for sure. Did you know that I actually got into Live 2D years ago, like in 2021, when it only started like getting kind of popular? I tried out of that and then I never went through with it. And I think I also lost the design that I had made for that. I think that I have like a screenshot of a part of it. Who knows really? I don't know. Another thing, I want to update my mini-me model, like this one, because it's summer here in South America. Well, it's always summer here where I live, but I feel like I should change it up because, despite me being pretty much almost wearing nothing with this hoodie in itself, I feel like I should change that up. I don't know if I should make a chibi version like this one again, or if I should make a full-on thing like you see back there, like my normal style, which I use for more detailed pieces. I don't know. But let's get on to this character, because I've been talking about literally anything except the thing that I'm here to talk about, right? The creation of this character, is in another video, so I won't be talking about that. As you see, I'm using Paint Tool Psi for this because Krita makes my laptop cry, and I cannot, okay? I couldn't just make a bunch of groups and layers there. Psi is the only program that my computer likes. Everything else, my laptop just wants to utterly obliterate into non-existence. So I'll be using a bigger canvas for this too, since I can. I usually use a 2000 by 2000, like in the 2000s, like, why am I crying? In the 2000s in general, but this time I'm using a 3000 pixel canvas. And I'll be dividing each part into different folders as well, so that the arms stay in one folder, the torso in another folder, and just that stuff, you know, just so that everything is very well organized. I'll be naming each layer too. This is honestly the easiest part of this whole process. It might sound scary because it's a bunch of separation, but just separating things, it is a lot easier than coming up with the entire design and drawing in and, you know, that whole stuff. So, I will be starting from the back all the way to the front and then making the face. That is how I separated these layers and folders. Then I clean up each piece and draw it fully, as in I draw the parts that stay hidden behind the character too, like drawing the full cake here, full sleeve, even the parts that stay hidden. That is for when the model bounces or moves. If that part gets shown, there won't be just a huge gap there, right? I do draw it in a lower detail, it's just an in-case security if anything, so I don't lose as much time just making a bunch of things that stay hidden for most of it. Then I'll be doing the face, which is the complicated part. Yes, the entire thing is extremely easy. Because the thing is already drawn, right? I don't have to draw anything else other than like adding a little bit of background stuff, and even in that case I don't really add much detail. So there isn't much to talk about. I separate each piece. You want me to talk about each piece? I do the legs. I do the legs together. I decide not to separate them into different pieces. I don't know. Like I separate the arms into two pieces, doing the right arm and left arm. And I named them in a way, like that was a thing, right? I didn't know if I named the arms as in her right and her left arm, or how we see it. I, in the end, decided to do them as we see it because I felt like it made more sense, maybe? I don't know. I honestly don't really know. Also, that sleeve that you see back there, that one confused me a lot. I didn't know what was going on with that one. I had some troubles, but in the end I figured it out. Because I had drawn it in a way which I understood at the time, then when I looked again, I confused myself because I had erased everything else. So then I started erasing parts of the sleeve, so that made sense. And then it didn't make sense when the full thing came together, and then I had to draw it again. Either way, I just fixed some stuff up, right? But for the face, let me talk about the face, because I'm pretty sure that the face will just fly by really quickly. Because I didn't record it. Haha, woohoo! Is that a surprise? Of course it isn't. So doing this PNG Tuber is a bit different from my own model here. Hi, I use, you know, this mine. Hi. Yoo-hoo. Hi again. Hi. Mine is very simplified, while this one that you see in the back here has a lot more details. So the face has blush and textures that I have to keep in mind while adjusting things. Especially when I erase the eyes from the actual head, right? As I make just the paper head, or, well, not really paper, right? Just the head in itself from the model. So then I have to like add a shadow there where the eyes go and make it make sense for when the eyes come back. It's very confusing. Also, I have to keep in mind that this model blinks, so I have to make it look good for when the eyes are there and for when they are closed. I also decided to separate the bangs there into different pieces. The bangs I don't know how to speak. The bangs that stay below the how do you call it? What's going on? Just the bangs, the one fringe there. Let's speak in the UK. Le fringe, that's French. Wait, that isn't even French. What am I? Guys, look. I'm high as fuck right now. Holy shit. What is going on? Okay, the bangs. You see the bangs, the one that goes across her forehead? That is one piece. Those side bangs, the side parts, those will be separated into another piece, just so that it adds more movement to the model, and just so that it like has more things like bouncing around the face and just making more sense. What was I saying? Oh god. Okay, and then I started separating the eyes, right, and the mouth, and made some expressions. I gave her a few expressions in this case. How many? 5 different ones, I think, but like in the end it came out to be 8 or 6. I don't even know. Man, I don't know how to count anymore. This isn't a tutorial, by the way. This is not a tutorial on how I make these. I just kind of fiddle around with things. I did actually watch a tutorial that helped me initially in making these models, which I will link down below if you want someone who actually explains what is going on. So then I open PNG Tuber Plus, which is the program I prefer to use. I have used Tube as well, which is the ultra simple one, but that one was so simple that, look, I needed more, okay? Also, I wanted to be able to change the expressions because I use these things, right? I like pointing places and whatnot, so these were important to me, and you know, I need this sort of stuff. I import each piece of our little model here, and then I start moving things that will stay in the back and others which will stay in the front. For example, the torso stays behind the skirt, but the back of the skirt stays behind the torso, and so on and so forth, that sort of stuff, right? Just doing the itty bitty pieces that like stay behind each other. After putting each thing to its place, I add the blinking and the talking animation, which is like the base of the animation. At that point, we technically have our model done. But then I decided to mess around with some stuff, with the physics of the model, how much each part bounces, but I basically made it in a way where the skirt and hair bounce more than the rest of the body, and just added some slight difference between each part of the body in itself, just so that it looks more natural. And then I mess around with the different expressions, which will be the shortcut buttons there at the bottom at some point. Some little squares with different numbers. When you press then each number on your keyboard, then the model will change its expression into what is assigned to that shortcut, right? That sort of stuff. And for that you need to then hide certain parts that are assigned to different parts of those shortcuts and whatever, you know, that sort of stuff. It's a complicated thing. Actually, this is like the easiest part of the whole PNG part. The hardest part is drawing, which also accompanies with them making the whole design, like coming up with the whole model design character thing, and then drawing it. And then the middle part is the cutting each part into its own section and doing the separation stuff. That one is like medium hardness. That could be taken out of context. Please don't. And then the easiest part is this thing, this that you see behind there. That is the easiest part of this whole ordeal. I could have done all of the expressions. Oh yeah, as I mentioned, I only did like 5 to 8 different expressions. I could have done all of them, like all of the shortcuts, which I might still do. But I couldn't come up with any more expressions. Maybe I'll like do some arm stuff. I did add a front eye for when she is looking at you. And then a side eye, a happy expression, an angry expression, a starry-eyed expression, a worried front eye, and a worried side eye, which those are very cute. But maybe I should add like the 2-hand ones still, or something like I have this one and this one, right? I mean, I might add something like that because I feel like that would be important for someone who will use it. I don't know. I also wonder if I should change up the shortcut buttons for the actual expressions still, so that it makes more sense. I will see though. I will see. If I do the hands, I will change that up. Either way, you will find out what I actually do the hands or not when I post her on my little VGen. Okay, that is where you will find the full model for if you want to buy her or not. I don't know. That's up to you if you can or want to. I don't know. But yeah. And guys, here we have the finished result of this model. Oh my god. Guys, this is the cutest thing I've ever made. I love her so much. I'm so sad that I'll be selling her, but honestly, she deserves to go with someone who will actually use her. But this might be one of my best creations yet. I honestly have a really deep love for making PNG tubers, and I want to make more in the future if I can allow myself to do that, because these are quite difficult to make, you know? Yeah. But this one right here is definitely on top of the list of best girls that I've ever made. Like, this design is everything ever, and oh my god, she is so cute. Like, please. But yeah, I hope you have a nice day and night, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye!